All right. In three, two, one. Hi, how's it going, guys? My name is Tom, proud owner of the Beatle 7 server. Now, as you know, we have been quite talking for some time in a sense of doing a podcast again. Now, if you guys remember, upon following our old server, known as the OO server, I know, quite degenerate, we have made a couple podcast episodes, which sadly, in my honest opinion, uh, fell off, even though that it actually had a very good train. But all in all, I will say this as my part as ownership upon that server, or I guess well this server and all that such, and how it like developed and all that such. Pretty much like yeah. Of course we grown as people, and as you know, back then I was in middle school. Now, as a living fucking adult, this is a little bit rejuvenating. So over here, that is on my left side, upon my screen, and all such, I have my wonderful, amazing friend known as Professional Fat Ass. Now I know that's a name, but if you guys remember, you might remember his voice or his name, aka the Mr. Bean Daddy himself. So Bean, give it away of
Yo, what's
introducing.
up? Yo,
So
yeah,
it has been quite some time since we've done a podcast.
it's been oh, excuse me. It's been years, bro. Like
It's been how many years?
it's
Like
been a hot fucking minute, bro.
I would say like probably like here, let me like look this
Yeah,
up.
no, I got
You
this. I
got
got
it?
the YouTube up. I got
You
the YouTube
you got
already
the
up.
YouTube up too?
Fuck, what was it?
Okay.
It was called the Utter
Is it
Beetle Podcast.
no, it's called the OO podcast,
Oh yeah,
episode 1. And it has like I was trying to aim for a like white aesthetic.
brother, it was 5 years ago.
That was 5 years. I was actually gonna say that number too. Holy shit.
I'm,
Well,
look, I'm looking at
5
our old
years.
fucking profile pictures of Latrice trolls. There's yours, and well, I'm not
Yeah,
gonna say what I look.
yeah,
And
no, we're not gonna. I mean, I'll mention it because I was an edgy ass teen back then. Like, it was a German World War II soldier with a slap face of the OO text and all that such. That was quite cringy in of itself. But aside
bro,
that,
I was looking at episode 10 right now.
oh god, no, no.
Why do I have a bean? I forgot that you made me a or some one of our no, it was Latrice that made the bean with the sombrero.
Oh, no, no,
It's I
that
think you
was
put a
no, no, that was an artist named May.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, and then you
Hmm.
I don't know who clipped it in, but they put a Modelo on both of my hands. What the
Yeah,
fuck?
yeah. Oh my
Man,
god, yeah, no.
that was
I remember I made those thumbnails on logo pick and all that such, and it was actually like really fucking it was really stupid because you know what I had to
oh
do?
god.
I had to
Uh,
I had to manually erase it into the background to make sure it transparents to the white. So like pretty
oh,
much like yeah.
yeah.
I think you like see like my amateurish like thumbnail making, even though it caught like a lot of people's eyes. I like the first episode alone. How many viewers I got? Like 209 viewers back then.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Uh, that was bloopers. Oh, plot. You had
Yeah,
oh
the
wow,
podcast. Yeah.
200 209 views.
209. Yeah.
That's
209.
we up there, boys. It
I
only
know.
took us 5 years, so we up there.
We are out there in the trenches making a
But
little bit grind.
brother,
Back
don't talk to me if y'all don't got the money.
yeah. Yeah. Oh my
Oh man.
god. Well, it's been a while,
Mm,
without a doubt. And
absolutely.
I think that throughout the time that back then, starting back well, way back then to
Mm.
today, like looking back on those memories, I actually absolutely miss them and all such. Like the times that we played Halo Master Chief Collection together and all such. You remember back then, and
Mm.
fucking what is it for fucking Halo Master Chief? Like where every time that we would play multiplayer and all that such,
It would take
it
fucking
would take
forever.
fucking 5 years to find a full
Yeah.
lobby map, even in big team battle, or even like in like SWAT or something like that. Yeah, like
I mean, like
like
uh,
loading times
to be fair,
too.
like
It was
when
still in its early
like
stage. Yeah.
well, not only that. First of all, 343, you fucking dropped. I mean, everyone will agree on the Air Jordans, they will agree that it was one of the worst launches ever. I mean, first of all, don't like they hyped up the fucking like the trailers and shit like
Oh
that.
yeah,
Like they
no.
the we will rock you shit like that fucking was cool. I was so like me and my twin brother. Also, those who don't know, I have a twin brother. He's a good guy. He's in the Marines, by the way. He goes by Blackout, but real quick, a lot of he assumes like people call him Blackout because like, oh, it's the Transformers from Michael Bay. No, there's a story behind that. But anyways,
Yeah,
um, I remember me and my twin brother, we worked our asses off. We were mowing lawns in the fucking freezing cold and this and that, and we barely managed to get the Xbox One that
hmm,
came with the Master Chief Collection.
yeah,
And I was like, oh my god, like I can replay all the Halo games. I can play the new Halo 2. I mean, well, the anniversary of Halo 2
yeah, yeah.
and this and that. Just bring back good old memories. And then as soon as we finished them all, I was like, all right, I was like, brother, it's been years since I fucking played a good old Halo 3 match. Since the servers didn't go down at the time, but I was like, I was like, let me hop in a match. Waiting for like 10 minutes. I was like, oh, there's probably a lot of people. 15 minutes. Okay, maybe a lot of people. 30 minutes. I'm like, all right, seriously, what the hell's
Fuck
going
me,
on?
man. Like,
An
yeah.
hour passed until I could at least get into one match, and the whole thing was laggy as all hell.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
It felt like it was running on N64 servers. But yeah, but I didn't really get it for to dunk on the on new kids who are getting into Halo. No, I just want it for nostalgic reasons.
Yeah, no, I personally wanted to grab it because as a person that like was getting an Xbox One and all that such like,
Mm,
the new gen console, I was like, holy fuck, this is actually pretty cool. Like, back then for me, I would say when the PS4 and Xbox One came out and all such, that was like during at that time, I would say like probably my middle school-ish era.
mm,
I kind of don't want to put my bet money into that one. Probably like my freshman year,
mm,
maybe. But aside that, actually no, it would be my middle school era. Yeah, that was like summer, and then That's like when freshman kind of like came in, all such.
right.
But aside that, there's like not that much like games during like that early period at the time, all such.
I
So
think it
I
was
was like,
very selective
yeah, it was very selective. I
game.
mean, like back then, do you remember Titanfall?
Oh, absolutely. I
Yeah, yeah.
love
Like a
Titanfall.
lot of people shit on it for being like, was it a Call of Duty copy back then? Like that
At
was like the
first, yeah,
main blind hatred towards it. And like
and then the
now
fact
looking
that
back
like,
to it, like it's actually like now
mm,
received like pretty much like amazingly growth of love and
mm,
attention. But now like, pretty much like yeah, like people back then like hated it. Now they like
mm,
absolutely like love it. So I think like I don't know. I would say this like for Halo MCC when it
mm,
like first launched, you like without a doubt like it absolutely was dog shit. But
it
I
was
mean it brought the stuff. I mean the bare minimum. So I mean there's some I guess some good points about that. Didn't you remember I forgot. Did they not added multiplayer for the campaigns or did they have it back at
uh
launch?
for MCC they had multiplayer for each campaign. I think if I remember
Yeah,
correctly,
this
the
is this is
only
based off
one
of remembrance. Yeah.
they didn't have Halo ODST on there because ODST doesn't have a multiplayer, only firefight. And I think was it Reach that wasn't in there too?
No, no, no. Reach was in Firefight. They
Okay,
recently,
yeah, no, no,
yeah, yeah. They installed like Halo ODST stuff, probably like half a year ago at tops, like starting of
no, it was
this
about
year,
2 3 years ago.
2 3 years. I
Uh,
I remember that they, yeah, yeah. Actually, no, you're right. Actually, yeah, yeah, completely. You're right onto that one.
I'll just say this because I love shitting on 343, even though, and all my friends know I'm like the biggest Halo nerd out there.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, the fact that right now MCC still has a bigger player base than Infinite just astonishes me.
Oh, you know, absolutely. I would say this, like, I think that Halo MCC, think, actually, yeah, like, what's my thought process again? Fuck. I totally forgot.
The that we were talking about Halo MCC that it didn't
Yeah.
really have much.
Yeah, it didn't have that much. Like, it had, like, bare bones, like, minimum stuff, but,
Like
I don't know.
I could
Like,
understand if it was like a small, kind of coming up developer studio, but like
I mean, yeah, with,
this is
like, the amount.
343 that
Yeah,
had
this is
like
343.
everything. Like Bungie said, "Here you go, here's the reins, take it, it basically like take it. This is my precious baby." And then 343 just like drops it and goes, "Oopsie."
Yeah, I mean, like back then at like launch and all that such, it was actually like just the bare minimum. And now that they took so much love and care for it, like it actually like molded into like something
But
that
yeah,
a lot of
look how
people
long
like
it
love it.
took though.
Yeah, yeah, without a doubt, it took them quite some time. But you know, you gotta admit, at least, I mean, if
At least, yeah.
comparison to
I
like
mean,
No Man's Sky, that also took
yeah.
a lot of development too,
Oh
and
yeah,
all
that's
such.
true.
So yeah,
I mean,
I
but
don't know.
I mean, like, because even then, like, I mean,
Hmm.
I didn't think Halo MCC would be at the state right now. First of all, I'm one of those pro people who think that they should bring mods to the Xbox because that shit would. I mean, the mod community is like literally the only reason why MCC is still up and running,
Yeah, it's still
um,
thriving and all such. Even
thriving.
same with like the fans too, like the
Mm.
fan animations that you've like showcased me and all that.
There
Hell,
is a
even the
guy.
old projects too, that
There's a
like
guy who's like
so.
making
Mhm.
who's like continuing like forget Halo 4, like this is a new story for Halo 3 and it was it's called New Covenant. That guy, I played his fucking campaign, way better than 4, way better than 5.
Even five.
Absolutely
I mean, okay,
goat.
I would say five is mildly
Anything's better than
alright.
5.
I mean, yeah, you're right, but at the same time, I think I don't know, as a person that enjoyed Halo 5's campaign somewhat, like yeah, I hated
Ew.
some parts of it, but I like the I guess the tension of it and all such, but like all in all, yeah, like yeah, I understand.
The campaign was absolute trash, but I
But
can't really say much for the multiplayer. Multiplayer
the
was actually
multiplayer,
goated.
hands down, multiplayer was amazing and all such.
Multiplayer was pretty goated.
Absolutely.
I mean, if it wasn't for the multiplayer, we wouldn't have fucking met.
Yeah, we wouldn't met and all such. Oh my god. Speaking of fucking which, would
Mm.
you like to tell the audience of how we met and all such?
Uh, and I'm pretty sure
In
a
your
lot of
take, in your take.
it might take a lot of. I'm pretty sure a
And
lot
I'll
of
fill in
people
any
have.
potholes and all that.
Like a lot of people. I also tell a lot of people to how we met, and like usually people,
Mhm.
have nice stories of like, oh yeah, I was like having a bad day or whatever, and this guy was like, hey man, you're doing good, you just pure positive. No, no, I was what was it?
Oh
I
god.
think I was in sophomore year,
Yeah, yeah.
and like I'm just during high school, I craved a lot of attention. I wasn't one of those motherfuckers who would stand out in the middle in class and be like, "Hey guys, look at me," type shit. No, I just was trying to look for people
Mhm.
who liked Halo just as much as I do, and this and that. And at this time, I was
Yeah, you're
slowly
just trying
coming
to find your
becoming
own crowd and all that such,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
and thank God for my best friends in high school because they were helping me become more social. I was never social, like very social. I mean, you get a few words out of me here and there,
Yeah, yeah.
but they really helped me. So so I was like thinking of Saturday night, and I just like joined a random game, and what was it? Hillbillies something, whatever. That's it. And it was just a quick
Yeah.
like you're running around the trailer park and whatever, and I join, and it's like quiet for like 2 seconds, and then all I hear is some dumb motherfucker going, "Get him, feeler, get." I'm like, what the fuck? And he's just getting like, "Get that fucking get that beater." And I was like, "Get that Mexican." I'm like, who the
Oh
what the fuck?
no.
I'm like, first of all, we just moved into our new house, and like there was barely anything in the house. And so
Mhm.
like the whole place is quiet. And my parents' room is literally just down the hallway, like 5 steps. And I'm like trying to control my laughter because this guy is just like, "Get him, feeler, get him," this and that. You get that Mexican, get that whatever, whatever. Just every fucking race into it. I'm laughing my ass off because I didn't think I expect this shit at fucking 2 or 1 in the morning, and I'm just like, and then you can hear I think the guy goes, he was like, "Hey, who's laughing? Who's laughing? It sounds like a Mexican." I'm like, I was
Oh
laughing so much.
no!
I had to
Oh.
grab a pillow and just like laughing it, and then eventually he goes, I don't, I kind of like it's a little blurry here and there, but uh, all I can
Mhm.
remember is Tom fucking made me laugh so much that my dad fucking busted my door and just go. I can see his tired face. He's like, "Shut the fuck up." And I'm like, "I'm sorry, Dad." He was like, Why are you awake? Why are you so loud right now?" I'm like, I'm just trying to play video games, Dad." He goes, "Go to bed." And I'm like, "Okay, Dad." And so I before I sent him a quick friend invite and this and that, and then like I would once in a while when I would get on Xbox I would see him and I'd be like, "Hey man, can I join?" He's like, "Yeah man." I was like, "Are you the filler guy? You He's like, "Yeah, that's me. I'm the filler. This and that, this and that." And that kicked off a an amazing friendship
And
that I
amazing.
never regret.
So, on my perspective, or my view, I remember back then,
Yeah.
um, there was a somewhat new addition to the Xbox Live, I guess, feature to say.
Mm,
And besides the party and all that such, that of course like people stack up and all that such, I had what is it? Like I was kind of babied onto like my gaming stuff because of my
yeah.
dad, because he enjoys playing games. Hell, like he fucking got me into like so much like things I'm very passionate of. Like he's one of those old G motherfuckers that would
Yeah.
literally stand in line for the next Call of Duty in front of GameStop.
Oh,
I
that
remember
was me and my
I
older brother.
yeah, like I remember my dad, me and him were like waiting in line for fucking Black Ops 2 and all that such. Like he would get like the big Ultimate Edition. Like the
Yeah.
very big ones, like the care package or the one with the RCXD fucking
Oh,
car and
so
all that such. Yeah,
he was a collector.
He was an OG
Yeah.
collector. He was a fucking person that was very passionate of. Like he didn't give a fuck about the campaigns because
Mm.
he wanted to grind onto the multiplayer, which he had more fun of. But for
Quick question.
me, yeah, yeah.
Did he get the Black Ops? I think it was either 2 or 3. Did he get the Black Ops Juggernog mini fridge?
No, no, he didn't get it.
No.
No, he
Ah,
didn't.
damn, bro.
After Black Ops 2, he kind of stopped, and then he kind of picked up after like Modern Warfare 2019 kind of kicked in.
Mm.
Cause
Oh,
like
I
me
see.
and him, like we kind of stopped playing Call of Duty entirely after Black Ops 3 and like any
Mm.
latest installment. The only like Call of Duty that me and him were somewhat heavily invested in would sometimes he would rarely play Advanced Warfare, but I remember back then him and I would get ourselves into Call of Duty Ghosts. A lot of people were shitting on the game back then. I want to say to those people that reviewed it pretty badly and all that such and say the campaign was shit, I would like to kindly tell you to go and rethink your life because that campaign was pretty good and the merch was good. Hell, even Ghost appeared as a cosmetic skin, so fuck you somewhat with love. But aside that, yeah, like my dad was an OG. Hell, he's like a car head and all such, so he's like into like, like mechanic stuff. Hell, he has
Mm.
like one of those like fast racing cars because back then when he was a kid, he would of course like street race and all such. So those like Fast and Furious like scenes and shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would totally do that
Oh, that's
back then.
fucking cool.
Hell, like right now, his passion is into motorcycles. So he's hopping
Oh, awesome.
hobby, which is like
Mm.
holy fuck, he's really getting there. But for me, I'm kind of like, fucking Mr. Rogers built-in sweater, knit up shit, painting
Mm.
miniatures, like a little fucking what is it?
Gremlin.
A little shrimp type of
A little
back.
shrimp boy over
Yeah, a little
here
shrimp boy.
thinking that he could fried rice.
Yeah, like I fried the rice and all that such. But aside that, yeah, no, like growing up upon that time and all that such, it was actually like really cool. And how I met Bean was through the Xbox feature known as creating groups or events or finding
Mm.
groups. It was actually called finding groups. And what this feature was for the Xbox Live is that you post a public form of like, hey, join my party, squad up together, let's go fucking wreck some bitches in like Call of Duty or Halo and all such. And back then,
or
way
Destiny.
back then, yeah, or Destiny, yeah, like those like primarily games of like wanting to find people than rather having to go through like fucking back then there wasn't Discord. Yeah, there wasn't Discord or anything like that until
I
like the
think it
time
was like
I
it was more in its
it was like,
infancy
yeah,
stage.
it was an infancy stage, but like back then, like you would actually like hit up people on Instagram or Snap and shit like that, right? It's like, hey, hop on, bro, shit like that. But like
Yeah,
Discord on its like infamy stage and all that such, like I installed that shit like way back then. I remember like I was in the beta and all such of like the social feature, but aside that, like when the groups started to create, I actually created my Instagram separately and of course all that such, and pretty much like yeah, then on from then there, yeah, we molded into something that is a great and amazing like group of people and all that such. But yeah, no, how
depends
I
on the
met Bean
people.
depends on.
We
Oh
had
yeah, we had our faults.
we
Actually, yeah,
we
we'll
had
discuss
our
that. Fuck it, we'll discuss that too. In all
we had
honesty,
some people who you know now
we
being
can. I mean, we can name it. We can name names.
no,
I
well, I
don't
don't
give
want
a
to. I
fuck.
don't listen. I'm trying to. I'm trying to let the old me die. Because
It's
old me
not.
would have been
It's
like,
not. It's not the old
but
you. It's called. It's called. What is it? Accountability.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. We just had. I'm gonna say this. We had some questionable motherfuckers on
Yeah,
here,
questionable motherfuckers in the group back
and
then.
I'm like, I look at these
Which.
people and I'm like, brother, my brother in Christ, have you thought about not doing that?
Oh
But
god, yeah.
I mean, everyone, every disc. I mean, to be
I mean,
fair,
every
when I
public
first
forum, every public
when I first
group,
started
yeah.
when Tom was like, dude, you should get Discord, and I'm like, Discord? Isn't that for a bunch
Blech.
of, losers,
Weirdos and
weebs,
shit.
and this and that
Yeah.
and this and that? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay. So I doubt, and then the other thing is people have to understand too. So I can't, in my family, especially my dad, he was very like, be careful with the internet, be careful what you're putting on the internet, this and that, and this and that, this and that. So he basically kind of put the fear of, don't get Facebook, don't get this, don't get Instagram, this and that, this and that, this and that. So, I was very, very like, I don't know if I want to get in or Facebook or Discord. I don't know if I want, because what if this and what if that and this and that. And Tom was like, no, dude, we're just chilling and this and that, talking to group and this and that. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll give it a try. I don't see myself actually staying in it for a very long time. Just one and done and this and that. Nope. Got into the server and this and that. Was very, very, very intimidated. Like, who are these people? Why should I care? Why should this and that? And you know, and of course Tom knows that being very anti-social, like I would join into the groups and say nothing, and then like it'd be an hour, and then like, hey, it's like, do we have another person in here? Oh hey, it's Bean. Or well, I used to go
No,
by
bro.
by my Xbox
Oh my
account, which was
god.
Death
Death
Shadow.
Shadow.
Oh man, dude,
Dude,
I
no, bro.
cringed, yo,
That's
I
an
cringed.
OG fucking name. What are you talking about? That shit
I
is a fucking banger. My Utter Beetle 2 for 20 is still a hit classic.
To be fair, I did actually steal the gamer tag from my older brother, so it's not really mine, but who
Nah,
also got it from.
still.
Oh, I don't. There was these old books that are not old, but like my older brother used to read back in high school.
Yeah.
Cannot remember the life of me, but they're basically like almost like Stephen King horror books, something
Hmm.
like. I don't. I gotta look for it, but all I remember it was like, dude, seriously, when you look at the cover, it looks like Emperor Palpatine, kind of type
Oh my
shit, right?
god. Wait,
Yeah, it was like
that
an
sounds
old
interesting.
creepy dude with his fingers out, and it says "Death's," with the S shadow. And so I guess my older brother just said,
Sounds like a
"Fuck
fucking
that."
Goosebumps type of shit.
I
That like
I think it was like a Goosebumps novel, but more for like towards teenagers. You know what I mean?
interesting, interesting. Mm.
But he got that name, and then because I still remember my Xbox 360 name was Arbiter 237 or so, I don't remember, something like that. But it was like Arbiter something, and then I lost the account because I was trying to get Xbox Live, and then a relative of mine was like, "Oh, you need an email." I was like, "What's an email?" I was like, "Oh, just use mine," and I was like, "Okay." So made a new account, this and that, and that's how I got from there. But
Yeah, yeah.
God, I forgot. This is what I hate about myself because I talk and I forget the train of like the
No, no,
idea of the whole
no,
thing.
no. We're talking about how I guess like we met and all that. Hell, I
Oh
even
well.
sidetracked like two
Oh no,
times.
getting back to
Yeah,
the
yeah. Go.
Discord thing,
Yeah,
but like,
going back to the Discord thing.
but
Yeah.
that's like, so I was very intimidating. People was like, "Who's in here?" And I'm like, "Hey." And he's like, "Who's this?" Everyone's like, "Who the hell is this guy?" This and that. And I was like, "Hey, chill, chill.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
my friend. This is my friend. He's a good guy. He's just, just chill. Like, what are you
Man.
doing, Angel?" And it didn't click until later on. Later on, and I was like, "Yo, man, like, what do you do in high school?" He was like, "High school? I'm in middle school." I'm like, "What the fuck?" I'm letting this, younger guy,
Yeah, no. I
speaking
was
for me. I was like, "What
I
the
literally
hell?"
met this man back in fucking middle school and it was like so fucking
Was I the groomer? Oh my
no,
god!
no,
Yeah,
bro.
I'm just
No,
kidding.
don't say that, bro.
I'm kidding.
No, 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 no. All like in all honesty, like yeah, no. It was an amazing time and all such. Like how I guess like more in my way how me and Bean met and all such. I basically posted a form of finding groups and basically we just wanted to fuck around on custom maps and all that such, just various game modes that I've like downloaded and all such from like the public um thing and all that such, like the
I will
servers
say this
for
too, that
Halo 5. Yeah, the maps,
no, no, I was
we're
gonna
not
say
gonna
three
talk
four
about the
three.
maps. Yeah,
Okay,
343,
let
the
me at
filtering.
least,
Oh god,
dude,
yeah,
bro. Let me
no,
just
you gotta talk about it. You gotta.
let me just like say two maps because I remember and I know for a fact that 343 doesn't fucking check or have a filter, right? The first map that I saw was a literal concentration camp, which
Oh
people were
my
actually
god.
playing on.
Yeah, yeah.
There was that one, and then another one when I was just scrolling, messing with people and this and that. Because like they will have a picture of like whatever, like a picture of the map or something, or sometimes like goofy. Actually, I've seen furry shit, and I'm like, on my Halo game, I don't fucking think so.
Yeah, yeah, there was
But
like furry
some
hangouts and all that such. Yeah, it was like it's like
someone
very
literally
prime years
for
and all
the
such.
for the front page, someone literally put porn on it.
Yeah, I know. There was like actual like hentai stuff back then too. Yeah,
I
like
was
the
like,
thumbnails for the for joining the lobbies. Yeah, like sometimes, for me as a person that like used to host, well, not the maps of like fucking weird shit, but like in a sense of like hosting, I guess like group sessions and all that such back then, like
mm,
the filtering and the like pretty much like imagery and all that such is just out there. It was like edgy, just play out edgy. So imagine like every fucking 12-year-old like can conjure up saying n-word this, n-word that, or like trying to like make various like weird political junctions and all that such. Like pretty much like yeah, you'll find that shit in fucking Halo 5's like finding groups,
or
lobbies and
the
shit like
ones that
that.
kind of took it a little too far with like the surrealism, like
Yeah, the
people, uh,
surrealism. Yeah, I do you
the
remember
like
the time?
military.
Yeah, yeah. You remember
Yeah,
the Oh my God. Well, the game modes were very fun. Remember eating termites and all such, where somebody is
that
like down
was
at the
fun.
basement. Yeah, I
Yeah, that
remember
was
we
fun.
played that quite often. Another one that we played quite
The border
more.
crossing.
Yeah, the border. No, I know the numbers that we've played that the amount. It was 3 or 4 times and all that such, and
Mm.
like we didn't have that much people, so we usually like stack up like switch sides and shit like that. But oh, if I go through like my old like Xbox files, I could probably find it low key. But yeah, yeah, like it's usually like game modes of like prison, classroom, stuff like that. Like somewhat of a variance of like infection, but has like a rule set of
I do
something.
remember Classroom just being more of a RP thing,
Yeah, it was
or
more of a
like
I remember back then like we somewhat did RP, somewhat did not, and all such. Like we we like hopped in for like serious like maps and stuff like that. Like let's say for classroom, like we basically not role played, but like more in a sense of like being ourselves and all such, and just like
just being
making
stupid.
like
Yeah,
stupid shit, like a skit of like a red versus blue type stuff, or of course like back then like we would hop in, hop out. Hell, we would even play the campaign too, all
and
such.
if anyone's laughing right now that we did like, oh, you guys did Red versus Blue, y'all showed up because y'all did it too.
Yeah,
I
I
know for a fact.
absolutely wanted to make a series of like Red versus Hell. I'm still
That
even
was
trying to do
everyone's
it.
dream,
I mean,
was
that's
to be
everyone.
like Red versus
Yeah, no, everyone wanted to become like their very own Sarge.
Red versus
Everyone,
Blue,
or like
or
their very own.
Machinima or whatever.
Yeah, like well, absolutely. Like a lot of people back then. Hell, even like the stuff back then for Machinima was kind of like.
Oh man,
I'm
back
being
then
honest.
Machinima was goaded, bro.
I I will say this hands down. Trying to make a Machinima, trying to put down your fucking weapons in Halo, it's a fucking hassle. Like fuck me.
Yeah, you had to. If I remember
Yeah,
correctly,
like
for
yeah,
five, it was hold A, X, B,
and
both bumpers, I think, and
and
jump,
jump at the
and
same
hold
time.
down.
Yeah,
No, no, it wasn't hold the bumpers. It was A, X, and B. Press down on the D pad and hold and jump, all at the same time.
yeah, like what the fuck? Like come on,
Like
man. That
I
should
kind of
not
understand
be
because like
enough. That should not be
I
like
feel like it should have
unlocked.
just been a settings thing instead, but
Yeah, no, like
whatever.
also like the thing is though like plus like Halo has been in the industry of like knowing the fact that Halo Shimas has also uppered the their following and all that such. Like hell, like if you were to talk to a Halo fan that played Halo 3 back then, the reason why they either got into Halo 3 was because of that fucking series known as Red versus Blue. Which is absolutely lovely. How I
I,
miss the freelancer era. I miss it
I
so
miss
much.
I miss I miss RVB, but after season 14 or 15, when they just like didn't have like Griff and Church and all this, I didn't watch those ones. I
I
didn't
still
even actually
haven't
watch the last season either.
I still haven't watched the cuz okay, I've watched the conclusion of Chorus, the planet,
Mm. Yeah, so
and
did I.
the next season of that basically it was about gods or something like that. I remember they dove
Yeah, no,
into
I
like
thought
Greek mythology,
it had
stuff like that.
nothing to do with RVB.
Yeah, and
I'm
also
like
like time travel too. Like, okay,
I was like,
I think that we should do like a live reaction of like that stuff and all that such. But like, in all honesty, like we'll probably talk about it probably like in the next future or something like that. But
I think I actually still have, because I remember buying a deck of cards that had all the red versus blue characters on there.
son of a bitch,
It's somewhere in my house. I
dude,
don't remember, but
I need to collect. I want to collect. Like, I'm being honest. If Red versus Blue does a recent fucking card selling thing, I would totally hands down buy them. Like
no,
hands down.
they weren't like collector cards. They were like actual like poker cards
Yo, poker
or
cards? Oh, yeah, yeah.
playing cards.
No, I'd still even fucking buy that, Loki. I'd still even buy that. But
Dude, I still remember my profile pic for some things, like especially at school.
yeah,
My profile pic was fucking Agent Main when
dude.
he first gets his AI and it's like
Oh my
fire on it.
god. Yeah,
Oh, dude,
no.
that's
No, that
cringe.
was no, it's not cringe, bro. That's peak era. That's Alpha Wolf era right there.
No, no,
Bro,
no.
that was peak Alpha Wolf like Sigma male fucking beat right there, bro.
I thought I was the guy back then.
Bro, you
Like,
were him. You were him.
it, nah, dude. Seriously, like I thought I was the I mean, every guy, to my knowledge, no, everyone has that one dream where they could save the school or save their crush from like the school shooter or some whatever fuck. I mean, I was in my head all the time in high school, and
Mhm.
like having this mentality that I can do whatever fuck, and then when the time comes, talk to a woman. Oh, I'm scared, bro. I don't want to talk
I
to you.
remember the oh man, being honest, like the women that played like Xbox Halo, holy shit, they were mentally freaky and all such.
I, I think anyone who just plays video games is mentally freaky.
Okay, that's true. All right, but okay, moving
Mm.
on from a interesting gooner topic to say, yeah, no, back then, like I met Bean and all such back when I was in my middle school era and all such, but during at that time, I basically played a lot of video games. I actually wanted. Actually, I've never mentioned this. Like in all honesty, like I've never been a person that would talk a lot back when I was a kid. I was kind of the quiet kid in the back. I was the quiet, shy kid in middle school that really didn't talk, even though that he would care for his teachers and all that such. Like I knew people, I know people. The sad part is I just didn't talk to them, or would
Mm.
consider them as like friends. And my, I guess, escapism back then to express myself to the fullest content would be, of course, playing, video games and all that such. And hell, it really did help me out in a sense of a lot of, you know, struggles at the time and all such.
And if, yeah,
Like,
and
yeah,
everyone has their own ways of like
yeah, no, without
expressing,
doubt.
I
Like
mean,
back then when I
mm,
express my shit, you got me. I was weird as fuck. I was
bro, we're
the
all
weird.
fucking weird as
No, no, no,
fuck.
no, no, no. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. I'm gonna hold myself accountable and all that
All
such
right,
onto
all
this
right.
one. So back then, I was heavily endorsed into, I guess, the, let's say, history side.
The
Okay, okay, you didn't need to
wrong
laugh.
side of history.
Okay, well, yeah, the wrong side of history, yeah. And of course, I would make casual jokes of set this, sex that, and all that such, stuff like that. Very sexist shit. Just edgy stuff back then and all such. But of course, growing up and all that such, yeah, I was like, yeah, no, fuck that. Stupid. And all such. Like the more I think about it, back then I would slap the shit out of myself. like like I know like, a lot of people back then would absolutely like um agree with that too. Like you would slap your fucking own self back then for betterment and all such. But all in all, like yeah.
I
Um
will
mhm.
because you kind of got into there, and I felt bad for laughing. So I will tell you how I was
No,
back in high
no,
school.
you didn't have
No,
to feel bad about bro.
no, no, okay, okay, listen,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
All right, I'm gonna
Uh-huh.
hold myself accountable because all right, so
you,
there
you
is
know what I imagine when you say that?
mm,
It's like I'm gonna hold myself accountable. You know that picture of like this man standing inside a church, like with his pamphlet like on the thing, like looking
yeah,
at
yeah,
looking
yeah,
about. I'm gonna hold myself
self
accountable.
accountable, but cause like
Yeah, yeah.
man,
Mm,
so there was this girl, and I actually kind of I still kind of talk to her, not really like she works at Target, whatever,
mm,
you know, she was a nice person,
mm.
kind of. Well, anyways, so
Oh.
uh, because growing up in the military,
Mm,
like we had some privileges. I'm gonna say, and one of the things was we were able to go to this youth center that you know it was for basically for the Navy kids, but we were Army, but my dad was retired, but they still let us in, so we go there,
mm,
and like that was my true like actually getting out and socializing with people.
mm,
And there was a guy and a girl, and they were like basically they were like best friends and this and that, and kind of found out later on the guy had a real crush on her, but she didn't feel the same way and this and that. But they were basically, we thought, me and my twin brother thought they were brother and sister. But anyways,
mm,
and at the time during high school, fair, being emo was like the peak. Everyone, some people wanted to be emo, some people want to have that goth phase and this and that. Well, to get her attention, I decided to go a little emo, quick to anger, and be like, "Don't mess with me.
mm.
I see red."
Oh no.
And
Oh
you
no.
you can't. The thing is, I'm gonna be
Yeah.
honest. As a guy who still who still struggles with being a little being on the chunky side and kind of working out, you cannot be a fat guy and be emo at the same time.
My God.
Like,
Just the way.
and then the thing is, like, I used to back then in high school, I used to have short hair
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I was in the ROTC program,
Mm,
and so we had to keep our hair short. But sometimes when I wanted to look nice, I would spike up my hair because my older brother used to do that and this and that. Well, and eventually, well, anyways, and so I would be intentionally angry just to get her, just to get her notice me. But like my friends would come up and like, "Are you angry?" Yeah. Why? Can't see my forehead. It's like, is that
mm.
really
Goofy,
like goofy like type shit? They're like, and eventually,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
caught on. I was like, oh, Angel really likes her, and I'm like, no, shut up. Oh, you're just a dirty human. And I was like, oh god, just thinking
What
about it.
the
See, because I used to go like,
fuck? What the
bro.
fuck? What
I
the
was like,
fuck?
I don't associate with humans. Like, kind of, oh god, it makes me want to.
Oh no.
If I ever saw myself as a kid or high school, I'd deck myself. I was like, shut the fuck up, that shit,
Shut the fuck
cringy
up.
ass motherfucker,
Shut the fuck
kind of
up.
type shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Even my best friends still bring it up to this like, hey, Angel. I was like, dude, that was me like fucking 7 years
That was me back then, for real, for
back then,
real.
bro, for real, for real.
Yeah, yeah.
And like, yeah, it eventually like I started losing interest because she was actually really interested in my best friend.
Mhm.
And but my best friend Kobe, being a really nice guy, kind of let down. It's like, oh, I really don't see you that way, and this and that. And she
Mhm.
took it real hard too, and this and that. But
Yeah.
oh man, I can't believe I fell for her. And then there's the traitor,
The traitor
the
herself.
trait,
We don't
the traitor.
mention her name. It's like Darth Plagueis, the wise. Well, she wasn't wise enough to
That's
even
some
be.
different type of lore.
Yeah, that's
This is
some
a
different.
recovery.
This is bro, big brain type shit when you just said
Big,
that. This is
big.
recovery.
This is a recovery. This is a
The second
safe
episode is
space.
gonna be called accountability,
I
and we mention past mistakes.
knew I should have got the fucking combo number 6, but fuck.
Well, man, actually, yeah. Come to think of it,
Mm,
looking back, yeah, actually, I
mm,
have this question to you, for you, and all such. Speaking of which, of
shoot.
recovery and all such, would
Mm,
you say that you fully recovered?
absolutely not.
Okay,
And I'm not
why
saying
is that?
as a bad thing.
Yeah,
As a bad thing, it's recover. To me personally, recovery is something that you just don't. Oh, I feel a little bit better.
yeah, yeah,
You know, or I feel better. Next day is gonna be better.
yeah, yeah,
Next day could be pretty bad. Next day or whatever. Um, like I mean, if it's like a medical thing, then yeah, absolutely. But for the people, for the people out there, like I kind of I don't, I guess I could say I self-diagnosed and
hmm,
kind of went to the hospital for it, but I definitely suffer from anxiety
yeah,
and depression. And a lot of people out there are like, oh well, whoop de fucking do, so do I, and this and that. And I'm not saying that like I suffer from anxiety and depression, so don't like no. I held myself accountable for it and be like, what are my triggers? What makes me feel this and that, this and
yeah,
that. But recovering for stuff like that and learning how to understand, what makes you, anxious, what makes you,
yeah. What makes you?
oh,
I
you're
guess what?
depressed and this and
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
You know, I feel like it's always going to be a battle,
yeah.
and but like
Mm,
you can't like because a lot of people are just like, oh, I just have depression. I was like, okay, so what are you doing about it? I don't know what to do. This and that. Those are
yeah,
those people. They. I hope they could find help soon or
hmm,
eventually. But people like that, they don't want the help. They just want to be self-loathing and this and that, this and that.
yeah,
Now, for me, it was really hard to actually ask for help. Growing up in a Hispanic family, and
yeah. Asking for
a
help
lot,
entirely is just a
yeah,
struggle in of its own.
because
Like even
even
speaking out or even expressing it too, crying it
because
out.
even right now, like
Yeah, yeah.
I have, it's kind of hard to tell my dad like, oh dad, I'm kind of depressed right now, and
Mhm.
he tells me like, mijo, like he goes, I mean, like I always be there for you, but like why are you so depressed? You have this, you have that, this and that. And it, even I was like, I don't know why I'm crying, dad. I don't know why I feel this way. I don't know why. It's like it's happening to me, and
Yeah.
I'm scared, dad. And I don't know what to do. And he's like, oh mijo, you just gotta think of the good things. I was like, dad, I can't, and it was really hard to understand like
Hmm,
what made my depression and anxiety kick. I mean, because
hmm,
it was the anxiety that really scared me the most, because um it started off with like uh just like small things that like, oh my god, like my heart rate's going up and this and that. And then what was really worse was
hmm.
when I really like knew I needed to get help was that one night I was getting ready for bed. I was going to bed about like 10 or 11.
Yeah, yeah.
And like every 10 minutes I had to go take a leak.
Hmm,
And eventually like I just like then the anxiety started really peaking up and this and that, and I'm like, I go and I'm getting really scared. I was like, something's wrong with me. So I tell my parents, I was like, I was like, I'm using the bathroom like every few minutes. I was like, this has never been happening to me. And I'm thinking like, oh my God, you got a prostate or something, whatever, or something's really wrong with you. That they took, my parents took me to the hospital and they said, we're not really seeing like anything bad or anything. We just see that, you're not really fully relieving yourself and stuff like that and this and that and this and that. And so they gave me medication and bitch, they want to fucking charge me $900 for that fucking hospital visit. Not gonna lie, bro.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh
But
God.
you
Hmm.
know, I would like that's step one was the anxiety and like my dad's like Mijo like is everything okay? I was like I don't know, Dad. Like I don't know. Then because where I work, I go on field trips and this and that, and the trips itself just like I would start shaking up and seizing up and this and that. And the thing is, like I lived in in Washington for about 9 years,
Hmm.
but like I knew everything about Washington.
Hmm.
But like even just going to just across the street, maybe anxious. I don't know
Yeah.
why. Then the depression kicked in, and like I remember just bawling in front of my parents, and they're like, "Mijo," they're like, "Mijo, what's wrong?" And this and God bless my mom. She has her moments here and there, but I
Hmm.
love her to death. Uh, as a 25-year-old, she comes up to me, she's like, "Mijo, is someone being mean to you at work?" I literally stopped crying, and I look at her. I was like, "Mom, I'm 25 years old. Like I will
I
beat their
can't laugh.
ass."
I can't laugh like this.
No, no, to go. You can laugh
No,
because I thought it
no,
was
no.
funny too.
Like no, I like I can share relatability to that because
Mm,
my sister asked that and all that such to me when I like I'll talk
yeah,
I'll like add my 2 cents into it, but like I understand where your mom is coming from. My sister
yeah,
even said that to
and,
me, so
like
yeah,
I
yeah.
and I told my mom, I was like, "Look, mom,
Mm,
I appreciate the try, but I don't know." And that's the worst part. I don't
mhm.
know. Kind of I knew a little bit because I used to live in Hawaii with my older brother and my sister-in-law for about a year and some change, and
Yeah,
it was like the first time I actually technically lived by myself.
yeah.
And Hawaii is just an amazing place, and I loved it, and I missed it, and I missed my old work and everything, and this and that, and now coming back to a place I'm like, oh, my life's gonna start, and this and that, I'm never gonna come back, and then here I come back, and a lot of people, say when they say that moving back with your parents is really hard, it really is. I mean, yeah, I have all my stuff here and this and that, but the atmosphere and the environment is different. But anyways, and
Yeah.
so like I remember just like bawling in front of my parents and this and that, and um I remember me and my dad just like because he has his muscle car, his 1969 Chevelle, beautiful car by the way, and I my dad said when I would feel upset, Angel, like me and your grandma and grandpa, we would go sit in the car. So like okay, so because they would go sit in the car just to listen to radio, whatever. So we went into my dad's to his Chevelle, and I sat there, and my dad's like, "Mijo, like, I don't know what to do. Like, I've never seen you like this." He's like, "You've always been like happy and cheerful and always goofy and this and that." I go, "Dad, you don't realize like all of that has just been a facade. Like, I was like, I don't want to sound like one of those people, but like, you truly don't know how I feel and this and that." And
Hmm.
the worst thing I ever told him that like he's like, "Well, how do you feel?" I was like, "Dad, I want to self terminate." I guess you could say. I don't want to say the S word, but I want
No,
to
you could.
self
I'm being
terminate.
honest. You could say it. You could
Well,
absolutely say it.
I'm gonna say it like this. I was like, I want to harm myself physically, and this
Yeah.
and he's like, Mijo, why? I was like, I don't know. It's like these thoughts are coming in and this and that.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
like, I know for a fact I would never do that.
Yeah.
He goes, but the fact that the thoughts are there scare me. Um,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and that night is when and for those who don't really care, but I do. That night I
People
found
care.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, he's always been there for me, but for all of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's the day like because being growing up Roman Catholic, always going to church and this and that,
Hmm.
but we were kids, like why do we have to go to church? It's Sunday morning, like I just want to sleep it, kind of but
Yeah. Yeah.
that day like I remember like putting headphones on, and the thing is like I was so anxious, so depressed, I could not be in my room because I have so much stuff in here and this and that. I felt claustrophobic. I went to go sleep in my twin brother's room, who he's not here right now. Um, So I went to go sleep. I slept in his room for like a whole week. I could not even look into my room, right? Like it just
Mhm.
gave it kicked up the anxiety. And I remember that night that I prayed and pleaded to God, like I don't know what's going. I don't know. Like these things are coming up. I don't know what's going on. This and that. I go. I just. It's been 3 days since I've actually slept. I go. Please, please, please. I go. Help me
Mhm.
get to rest. And so I prayed, and that at that moment, I actually felt for the entire night peace, like
Mhm.
pure
Yeah.
peace that I
Yeah.
have. Like I was able to sleep until like 11 the next day.
Mhm.
And I remember too that when I was sleeping that like I could physically feel something going into me,
Yeah.
you know,
Not in
and
a weird way. Not in a weird. I'm
and not in a
sorry.
weird way, no.
Yeah.
But like I could feel like
Yeah.
physically something going into me and this and that, and
Yeah. Yeah.
to me now realizing that I was getting the Holy
Mhm.
Spirit and this and that, and
Not in a weird way. I'm sorry.
and no, you're good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Mhm.
and the thing is, both of
Mhm.
my dad's side, my his
Mhm.
brothers, one's a Catholic, one's a Christian.
Yeah.
I love them both. Absolutely. Like my his name we call him Tio Lalo.
Yeah.
My
Aw,
Tio
that's so
Lalo
cool.
is
Yeah. Yeah.
like the most religious, most compassionate person
Mhm.
I've ever met in my entire life.
Mhm.
And the most wisest person of all the entire family. Sorry, Tios and Tios. I'm sorry, that's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
and and I remember calling him and
Mhm.
I go, Tio Lalo, I go, I'm just going through so much right now, like in this and that, like
Mhm.
what do I do? I go, I feel that God himself is angry at me. And he told me the truth, like, Mijo, like God doesn't God doesn't hate you because of your past things or because you rejected. He like he will always love you and this and that. He goes, Mijo, I want you to write this down. And I think it was Corinthians something, I forgot. I have the paper somewhere, but whatever.
Mhm.
And basically it was just like, you're not judged by your sins or your works, it's but your faith through Jesus. And you know like the worst, eventually after that, like I went to the beach because it was a nice sunny day, and and my parents were really worried about me. They're like, Mijo, where'd you go? I was like, I'm just at the beach. I'm just chilling and this and that. I'm just like trying to gather my thoughts and this and that,
Yeah.
because I kept having evil dark thoughts of like I couldn't even be by
Yeah.
myself. Like
Yeah.
when my parents would leave, like I couldn't even be by myself. I had so much evil thoughts in my head of, either harming other people or harming myself.
Yeah.
It was really, really bad. And
Yeah.
eventually, like, whatever, I couldn't be by myself, basically.
Yeah.
And my parents left because they had to go to work, and, it was my day off. And
Mhm.
I remember actually just being in my room, and I'm like overthinking just everything, everything. And I have a cross above my doorway. uh,
Mhm.
a lot of people, they're like, "Oh, why do you put it right there?" I was like, "Well, because when you enter my room, you're entering the presence of God, basically.
Yeah.
Not me per se, but like above the
I am
above the
God.
thing.
I
No,
am God. Hello.
but
Yeah. Yeah.
you're basically being welcome. Basically, there you go.
Yeah.
Because we have it all over our doors. You're basically being welcomed by God. And I just got on my fucking knees, and I'm like, help me, like I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know what to do, and this and that, and like please don't leave me, please don't, like I'm begging you, I'm fucking sobbing, I got mocos coming out and everything, I'm sobbing and this and that. And like from there was just like, like I realized that like I cannot live without Jesus. Like
Yeah.
he is everything to me. Like he's there to comfort me in this and that. And I slowly, slowly but surely started, started reading the Bible, started, reading this and that, and, listening to music, learning how to, how to calm myself and this and that. And also went to the doctors. The doctor was a good guy, good man, and he's like, "Do you feel like you're self harm? You like you would self harm yourself?" And I told him the truth. Yes, I do. And he gave me, like, listen, here's and if anyone out there is, suffering from that, there is help. This national hotline suicide. I've never called it personally, say, but if you feel like that way, please
Yeah.
do.
Please
Cannot
do.
stress this enough.
Absolutely.
Um, but
Mhm.
and and like I still, once in a while I take them anxiety medications once
Yeah.
in a while.
Yeah.
But I found to myself that I don't like it because it just numbs me. Doesn't and the doctor
Yeah,
told me to. He's
which
like,
I can relate to those because
mm,
I have schizophrenia and all such,
mm,
and my meds back then pretty much like yeah, like it didn't degrade, it
mm,
just didn't feel right and all
yeah.
that such. So like I
It
understand that feeling and all that
and the
such.
two, it made me
Mm.
fucking a sleepy as hell. I tell you
Made you
what,
sleepy?
it
Mine's made
dude, it
me
really does.
irrational. Mine
No,
made me a
mine
little bit
mine makes me
irrational.
real fucking sleepy. Um, and the
Yeah, yeah.
and the other thing is so the other and so like eventually like
Hmm.
I would take the medication once in a while, and the
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
is like since I had to go on these trips, I had a real fear that I could not hold my bladder because I would have to go like every few minutes, even
Yeah.
just going like an hour away. Like I had this innate feel like, oh my god, I'm gonna
Yeah.
piss myself, I'm gonna piss myself, and then thank God for my supervisors, or they're I absolutely love my work because a lot of people there are very, very, very understanding and very supportive for me, and I wouldn't trade it for the whole world or
Yeah.
anything for the world. But like through that, I slowly, I'm still working on it. You know,
Yeah.
we building my relationship with God, and I'm not gonna say for anyone, hey, if
Hmm.
you start worshiping God, everything's gonna be great.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything's gonna be, okay.
I
No,
mean, yeah, yeah. That's
like
like that's
you're
how
gonna
you
fall.
found it. Yeah, yeah. That's
Mm,
how you yourself like
mm,
found like comfort and all that
mm,
such, which you absolutely like need. I think because I absolutely relate to you in your
mm.
sense of the struggle, the
The
dread, and all that
the
such. Yeah.
biggest hardest lesson that I had to learn
Yeah.
through my struggles with with trying to build a relationship with God
Yeah.
is
Hmm.
that you're not gonna be sinless. There was only one person that was sinless, and that was Jesus. You're not gonna be perfect,
Yeah.
but he doesn't see that, or he sees it, but
Yeah. Yeah.
he doesn't condemn you for it,
Yeah. He
because the
accepts you
truth,
for who
yeah.
you are, not such,
Well,
and what you've
it,
done.
it it's a different back and
Yeah. Yeah.
forth because of course the Bible it speaks in
Yeah. Yeah.
basically almost like riddles. I can't remember the word, but
Yeah. Yeah.
um
Yeah. Yeah.
but the big one of the biggest truths is that
Mm.
you're gonna sin, you're gonna fall into
Yeah.
lust, greed, this and that.
Yeah. Just human
But
stuff.
the
Yeah.
fact, yeah, but it's not that you fall into it, it's the fact that you get back up, and you're like, okay, I fucked up, forgive me, time to get back to work.
Whoosh.
You know,
Yeah.
uh, fall. Because even then, like,
Hmm.
because a lot of people, like, there's a couple of people I followed. Like, okay, you read the Bible, you go to church, so what? You do all this stuff, but do you truly have faith in Jesus and this and that? And sometimes even I, would question my. I guess you could say like my faith and my loyalty to Jesus, and I'm like, sometimes I'd be like, am I really, this and that? And some of this stuff I had to find out myself, or really had to think about it and this and that.
Yeah.
But I would not trade my loyalty to Jesus for anything else in this world.
Not even the Umbrium card.
Brother, if there
Brother.
was Jesus on one side and fucking the Umbreon
Not
card on the
e-
side, I'd go straight to Jesus,
Bro.
brother.
Would you trade Jesus for an Umbrium card for the new
I'll
pack?
gladly pay you Tuesday
Two
for an
schmeckles
Umbreon.
for Jesus.
Never, bro. I
Never.
would
God
never,
damn, never. You hear that, man?
never,
Well,
never.
for me, um,
Mm,
I absolutely relate to you in a
mm,
sense of the struggle.
yeah.
Um, so as a person that like tried to seek, I guess, validation and comfort and all that
Mm,
such, I tried my best to like lean towards like religion and all such, which back then I did. But the stuff that I kind of like went through of like my very own struggles and all such made me quite challenge myself of like what I believe and all
mm,
such. And I'm not, of course, I'm not gonna dismiss of like what you believe and all that such. I'm just pretty much like what I'm like saying that is what I went through and all such.
mm,
I went through it alone and I pushed others away and all such. So back then, I think you kind of remembered and all such, like way back then, when we like somewhat started to talk more in a sense of like a group and all that such, and like maybe sometimes one on one during those like Xbox party days and all that
Yeah.
such. Like we would talk about ambitions, we would talk about all that such, you know. Like I wanted to make a somewhat career for myself to become like, you know, a YouTuber and all that such. Like I
Mm.
was inspired, heavily inspired by back then PewDiePie, back then fucking Uber X Nova, back then
Markiplier.
yeah, well, actually, a little bit Markiplier. Yeah, a little bit Markiplier. But like, you know, the gaming lemon stuff like that. You know, these
Oh, I miss that
individuals.
guy.
I know, I miss him too. Like, you know, these individuals that have, you know, made my childhood. I want to do stuff like this. I want to make events. I want to, of course, interact. I want to make people, you know, smile and fucking, you know, get my shit like, you know, into like their playfield.
Mm.
But back then, I was a kid. I didn't know better. Hell, I didn't even have the resources or the tools back then and all that such. And I just felt very trapped.
Mm.
And I guess like throughout my own personal like struggle of like family issues and my own self issues and all that such, like pretty much like yeah, it just took me back, way back into letting out my anger and my issues and my emotions that you and like fucking rabbit troll like any other folks that I can mention and all such as
They've been here the
Wumble,
longest.
yeah,
Yeah.
that have been here like the longest, OG members and shit like that that I've
Wobble's never
relent.
been there for me.
Wumble's been there for you. What the fuck you
Yeah, no,
talking
I'm just kidding. He's in the audience. I just want to piss him off.
yeah. Yeah, though, like, you know, I've let out my frustrations of life to you guys, which is heavily unfair and all that
Mm.
such. Like, I remember back then, like, I absolutely hated myself onto every time I would, you know, have a breakdown or like a moment to, you know, take a step back from the internet. And when I did take a step back from the internet and all that such, like a lot of people were like, "Yeah, no, this is something that you need." But when I took a step back from the internet, I was
Mm.
alone. I
Yeah.
didn't have anybody. I mean, sure, I had my family and all this, but I will say this, back then my family wasn't there for me.
Mm.
And yeah, like my IRL friends, I rarely even, hell, I didn't even talk to them about it and all such. Like, I would say
Yeah.
this, like my IRL friends, non-existent, non-existent back then and all such. And
Yeah.
then when it came to like high school, that's when it kind of kicked off of like having IRL friends and all such. But like
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
my only like friends and I guess like people that I lean towards would be like online and all that such. And of course, my expressions and all that such got me into that. So of course it made me do some questionable things to myself and all that such. Like as a person that struggled alone onto many things such as drug abuse and all that such, like pretty much like yeah, I heavily like lean towards the validation and comfort of random strangers online than rather of course actual professional help or, you know, people that I know damn well will actually like, you know, comfort me.
Mm.
The only validation that I got would be shitty mentally ill people or shitty fucking people that wanted to take advantage of me.
Yeah.
And that's the time that was pretty much like, yeah, kind of a little bit of rude awakening. I think I remember, I mean, going hefty to the topic, which I will actually like visually text it to you upon this timestamp and all that such, around 1 hour and 4 minutes in, that I'm going to be talking about some heavy topics of my struggle or such. So back then, I tried to, of course, overdose quite often. Or such. So I would
Yeah. I
mix
remember.
medications or like plain out like well, not actually not medications. I mean technically like yeah. I mean ibuprofen. Yeah, I would mix it and fucking you know Xanax and shit like that. I would try my best to OD and all that to of course fucking die and all such because I mean that was my only I guess leaning of comfort to or towards but yeah, so I understand the struggle of alone, I understand the dread, I understand the struggle of just pretty much asking for help even too, like hell I
Yeah.
cried in front of like my mom and she didn't know what to do
Yeah,
She
the only
just like
time.
stared at me
Mm.
and just like, all that such. I'm sorry. Yeah,
No,
yeah,
that's fine. I was
yeah,
gonna
yeah.
say the only time I actually
Mm.
like was emotionally vulnerable because I
Yeah, yeah,
love my best friends. You know,
yeah.
we're not even best friends anymore. We're brothers. You know, I I told any of them that I would do anything for them as long as long as it's morally correct.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
you know, I
Yeah, yeah.
like right now I pray for my best friend Jesse because he's also going through some struggles financially wise, but um, I try to my love language, and I don't like this is kind of like a double edged sword. Like my love language to all my friends or my IRL friends is
Hmm.
I like to give,
Yeah.
um, and because I mean we all text each other once in a while. Once in a while when we're all feeling giddy inside. Hey bros, don't forget you're loved, you're appreciated, this and that, whatever. But usually
Yeah.
most of the time it's just us sending ass pics to each other's. And if there's any women in the group, that is normal. Don't ever talk shit about the group chat. Anyways, uh,
Yeah, yeah.
or whatever. And but at the down and great because I even remember I remember
Hmm.
my best friend Kobe. He broke up his high school girlfriend broke up with him, and like this man was a mess. And I remember like just chilling. Like I think I just got my license too, so I'm like chilling in the house and we're ready about to go to bed. And my best friend Garrett goes, "Dude, can you come over real quick?" I was like,
Hmm.
"Dude, it's about to be 10. I'm tired. This and that." I go, "What could be possibly so important?" He's like, Kobe's girlfriend broke up with him. I didn't fucking hesitate. I put some pants on, put a jacket on. I said, I'm on my fucking way. Got in the car, fucking drove in a 20 mile per hour. I went fucking 50.
Oh my
I'm so
God.
glad it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, I don't mess with the homies, and I went in there,
Yeah.
and I can see him just crying right there, and I'm like, brother, like, oh, like, is everything okay? And he's like, no, dude, like anything that reminds me of her, we're getting rid of. I'm like, got it, bro. I got you. And the funniest part too is actually kind of that I think it was a week before Valentine's. So of course it was really even harder on him. And so he texts me. He's like, "What are you doing Valentine's?" I'm like, "Bitch, I got no hose. I got nothing to." And
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
like, "You want to go see what was it? Uh, Battle Elite Battle Angel, whatever. Uh, it was an anime that was turned into live action.
Hmm.
Elite Battle 1 or something like that."
Yeah.
And he was like, "You want to come with that and see me?" Because Jesse had his girlfriend, Garrett had his girlfriend, so it was just me and him. And we're like, "Okay." So I went, and like he's like, "I'll get the tickets," and I'm like, "I'll get the popcorn, and I'll get the snacks, and this and that, this and that, this and that." And we're sitting there watching a movie, and I turn to him, I go, "Nigga, is this a fucking date?"
Yeah.
And he goes, "Bro, I think this is a date." I'm like, "Fuck," because after that we went to go get dinner. We went to Applebee's,
Aww.
and I was like, and we're me and him were like, "Yeah, this and that, like like man, forget love and this and that, forget her, bro, this and that." And so I get home, and my parents are waiting right there, and my mom and dad are snarking. I'm like, "What?" And then my mom goes, "So how was your date?" I was like, "It wasn't a date," and this and that. And they're like, "Oh, sure." I just started to play along, and I'm like, "You know what? At least he know how to treat me right. He bought me dinner."
Oh
Uh,
man.
but I'll never forget that day. It was funny as hell though. But yeah, getting back to the main point, I do anything for my homies. And I
Mm.
guess Womble too. Yeah, he's not gonna say anything. Anyways,
Yeah.
I guess Womble too. No, I'm just kidding. But
No, but
I keep all my friends close, the closest, because
yeah.
even like for you, like or like me and you, like it's hard to ask for help. It really is. Like like my friends know for like if I'm asking for help, I basically hit rock bottom. And even then but even then my best friends in IRL don't really know a whole lot of things about me that I only
That
because like I don't
yeah.
want them to know about the messed up things that go in my head and the messed up things that
Yeah.
that just basically that kind of go through me. but I know for a fact they know, and they always try to be a little supportive as much as they can. I think the
Yeah.
one that the I think the one time that they actually really saw me be vulnerable is when I took shrooms with them.
Oh my
That
God. Yeah, you told me the story about that one. You can
that
tell the
I
audience.
okay, so
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna make it short ish. So my friends were taking, and it was all hallucinant drugs, nothing like hardcore, like meth and all. No, we know better. Um,
I didn't know better.
So
Yeah, yeah.
all my friends, so Kobe, Garrett, and Jesse, were taking LSD,
Mhm.
and I'm like, because my dad was counter drug in the National Guard, so I was like, guys, we shouldn't do drugs and this and that, and my friends are like, come on, Angel, just like try it once. He's like, it doesn't even have to be LSD. It's like I got shrooms. I'm like, shrooms, huh? I was like, huh, okay. And so we went to Garrett's house, and we went in the garage. And first of all, his parents absolutely wonderful people. The mom super chill and this and that. Little brother is pretty cool too. The sister is also pretty cool too. She did a lot. She did weed too.
Mhm.
Um, but we're all in the garage. And first of all, Washington's cold as hell, but he managed to make that garage warm. And so everyone's in the circle. We're like, okay, you're gonna take a LSD. You're gonna take, and Angel will take a mushrooms. And my friend Garrett's like, oh, dude, just to let you know, the mushroom itself tastes horrible. So I'm gonna make you was it a Nutella peanut butter sandwich? And I was like, damn, that sounds real fucking good. So I wolfed that bitch down,
Mhm.
and I was like, well, how long does it last? And they're like, oh, for us it lasts like 5 hours, but for you it was like 3 hours or something. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And the thing is, I've never taken. It's my first time taking a hallucinant drug. And so I'm like sitting there. I'm like, I don't feel nothing. Y'all are just fucking crazy. And then I started feeling it. I was like, whoa,
Bro,
like,
these edibles ain't sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
type shit, right?
yeah, yeah.
And so like eventually I was sitting there, and then I get this ornate feeling like I should not be in the because we're all sitting in the group, just like we had the lights were on and this and that, and I go, hey Garrett, I go, do you got? I go, I'm kind of feeling a little anxious right now, and he's like, hey, I got you, because Garrett's also Mexican. He goes, let me go get my big ass tiger blanket. I'm like, hell yeah, brother, go give me that. So I wrap myself over it, and I'm like, I keep getting this like, you shouldn't be here, you shouldn't be here, this and that. And so I go at the end of the garage, sit like I had my back against the garage door,
Mhm.
and it like the lights were just they were just irritating me. So I put the fucking covers over my head. And Garrett's like, "Oh, let's off the lights." And like, everyone's like, "Yeah, yeah, do that. It feels way better." And this and that. And I'm starting to like look at my hands, and I'm like, "Oh my god, my fingers are super long. I should break them off." And like I'm like twisting them sideways,
Mhm.
and I'm like, "Ow, that hurts." But I really want to like my fingers are super fucking long, and this and that, this and that. And Garrett's sister comes down with her mom, and she turns on the light, and she's like, "Is everyone okay? Everyone having a good time?" And they're like, "Yeah, yeah." And then Kobe goes, "Angel, you okay?" And I fucking pull the covers over my head. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm good." Uh, why am I down here? And they're like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, why? What am I doing?" I was like, I don't know what I'm doing right now. He's like, "Dude, are you freaking out?" I was like, "No, no, man. I'm chill. I'm chill." The thing is, I don't want to, be like, "Oh, he's a
Yeah.
weenie," kind of type shit.
Yeah.
And so like eventually I'm like, I don't feel so good, and I went in the back, threw up, and I told Garrett, I go, Garrett, never, please don't ever have me do this again. He's like, yeah, man, I won't. He was like, if you don't feel like that way, he's like, I'll never pressure you to do it. I'm like, okay. So eventually I went back inside, put myself in the blanket, and I started peaking. I was starting real bad, and I told Garrett, I was like, Garrett, I need a safe place. I need somewhere else to go and this and that. And he's like, yeah, dude, go to my room, go to my room. He had a big cushy comforters and this and that, and I just threw myself on there, shoes and all, and this and that. And he was like, do you need to be alone for a minute? I was like, yeah, bro. Like I'm freaking the hell out right now. And they leave, and like it was so fucking scary because the blanket itself started moving like if it was like a fucking snake. And so I threw the fucking covers off of me. I'm freaking the hell out and this and that. And my then Kobe and Garrett get in to the room. They're like, "You okay?" And that's when all hell breaks loose. I start bawling myself. I was like, dude, I was like, I feel like a failure. I almost barely passed high school, and this and that, this and that, this and
Mhm.
that. And they're comforting me. They're like, "No, Angel, like you're good, man. You're good. Like we love you, dude. This and that. All love to you. Positivity and this and that, this and that." And eventually, like I hit peak, and then eventually started going down. They're like, "Angel, you're just peaking right now. You're okay," and this and that. I was like, "No, bro. I like, I don't know what to do." And this, what if my dad finds out? What if my dad finds out? This and that. And like, "Angel, you're fucking 19 years old," type shit, and whatever. I was like, I just don't want to disappoint him, and this, I don't want to do this and that. And then eventually,
Mhm.
like everything felt okay. And then Kobe was like, "Angel, are you okay?" And I'm like, "Dude, you should get in the bed with me." He's like, "What?" I was like, "I need a hug, guy. I need a hug." So he gets in the bed with me. He's like, "All right, bro, I'll get in the bed with you." And we're like fucking hugging. He's like, "You good now?" I was like, "5 more minutes." And then I go downstairs, and everyone's
Yeah.
like, he's like, "You good, Angel?" I'm like, "Oh, dude, like I feel real good right now, bro." And someone goes outside, and I see how it's raining, and so I go out there. I was like, "Guys, like, don't you realize how beautiful nature is right now?" It's like it's raining, like we're getting the gift of water and this and that. Everyone's like, "Damn, dude, like you good?" And I threw myself on the floor on the grass, and I'm wet. I was like, "Don't you just like feel the rain droplets and this and that?" Like, damn, he's fucked up and this and that. And then so so we go back inside. I'm fucking drenched, so they covered me with the heater and blanket and this and that. And for since we're all fucking peaking, we watched Jesse's girlfriend play Animal Crossing on the Wii for like 3 whole hours straight. And every single thing she did, like if she put a plant down, we're like, "Whoa!"
Whoa! Holy
and,
shit!
like,
Fucking starts clapping.
yeah. And so like
Yeah.
so and eventually
It's
like
like a Family
eventually I
Guy
like
skit. What the fuck?
eh, so eventually like I started like coming back to my
Yeah.
senses, and the drug was leaving my body and this and that. And
Mhm.
I was like, I'm never doing that again. I don't think I have the strength. And like that was the actual first time I actually felt true anxiety. And
Yeah.
I drove home, and my mom was like, "You okay?" I'm like, "I just did shrooms. I don't think I'll be doing that again." She was like, "Oh, okay. At least you
Really?
tried it."
That calm? What the fuck?
My mom has always been like, I mean, nothing hardcore drugs, heroin and shit like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
But
No, absolutely.
she's like, try it, and if you don't like it, don't do it again. If you
Okay,
like
okay.
it, hey, as long as you're doing it safe, and
W
as
mom.
long,
W mom right
yeah,
there. W
yeah.
mom.
But
Yeah.
if my dad ever fucking found out, he might kick my ass. But
Get the fuck
whatever.
out! Get the fuck.
No, he would never do that.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
probably,
no, no.
if I
Yeah.
told my dad, he'd probably be like, "Oh, okay, um, all right." My dad keeps to, not only because of counter drug, but him being an actual illegal immigrant from Mexico. My grandma, may she rest in peace, she was absolutely a sweet person. My grandma and my grandpa, absolutely amazing
Mhm.
people, even though I couldn't fucking understand them because they spoke Spanish, but I miss them severely.
Mhm.
My grandma and grandpa told my parents, or my dad and his siblings, "Please don't ever do drugs. We did not leave Mexico for you to get into drugs. We didn't go through all those struggles for you to get in drugs."
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, I've done of course I did shrooms. I did weed like 3 times and never really gotten back into it. It's not me, honestly. Don't really care for it. Sometimes I kind of wish I had a joint, but also how much anxiety and depression I have, I don't think it fix me. I think it would probably make it worse.
I mean, yeah. I mean, getting addicted to like weed and all that such is a thing and all that such. Even
Mm.
though that it does calm like anxiety and all that such. Like I will say this, like studies have shown that weed has calmed down people with like heavy ass depression or anxiety. But the thing is though, if you keep using it, you'll become
Mm.
addicted. I mean, that's like there's a benefit and there's a not so benefit
Mhm.
onto
A
it because like
downfall.
yeah, downfall. Like another thing is that there's weed smug and all that such like mucus shit like that. Like there's stuff to there's like cons that would actually like make your body like have like more like fat and all such because how much like weed can because it's addictive and all such like
Mm.
without doubt. It's like yeah, okay. I mean I dove myself into like weed here and there, but like, I mean, I guess how long have I been sober? Starting from like day, like since out today. All such. I think I've been like sober because like my longest streak for sobering would be like fucking four, no, not four, like 3 years straight and all such,
Mm.
like, from like cigarettes and stuff like that. And like yeah, um, pretty much like yeah. Even though I had to break it and all such, like for me, like sobriety, like it's absolutely amazing. Like I highly do it and all such, but I don't know, like yeah, like I sometimes I would dive myself into like getting into it, like just like a confetti party thing, shit like that, you know?
Mm.
Like yeah, just like one edible wouldn't hurt and stuff like that. And like,
Yeah.
after that, stop complete. I remember one time I I basically needed a cigarette. And for
Mm.
those that like knew me way back then and all such, I used to be a heavy ass smoker of cigarettes and all such. Like this is the same time that I would of course use heavy drugs too, and all such.
Quick
So
question: You were you that motherfucker that stand in front of the 7-Eleven? It's like holy
no,
shit, Spider Man, go back and go get me some Newports.
no,
Mm.
that's a different, completely different person. But I wish I was him.
Oh my
God,
God, Spider
motherfucking
Man,
damn,
go get me a pack of
motherfucking
Newports.
Newports. I wish I was him. I wish I was him. Hell, Newports are pretty good too. I would, yeah. But
I
besides that,
actually I never smoked
yeah, never.
cigarettes. I've
Yeah,
done
don't do it.
cigars
Don't do
though.
it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's also not the healthiest way to even take tobacco. I mean, there is other ways too, but like, I don't recommend the spitting one. That one fucks up your tongue. I
My
guess the
natural high
one.
is Jesus.
I that's true. That's true. But yeah, like for me, yeah, like I needed a cigarette one time, and that was the time after I would say level up for 2024 and all such. And
Ooh.
that one was pretty a little bit scary to you mention it and all such. Like me even mentioning it too, it's actually quite controversial for me to even talk about it because it does involve with people that are somewhat members, somewhat not. But I don't know, like yeah. Um, aside that though, pretty much like yeah. I mean, our recovery entirely and all that such was pretty much like yeah. It was a struggle to say to even get back into it, to even feel good and all such.
Mm.
But like, in all honesty, like for me, I heavily relate to you in a sense of that you don't feel good still and all such. Like it's just
I wouldn't say I
well
don't
like
feel good.
well
I,
like
I,
more in a
I,
sense of like
I will
content.
say I will say this.
Contentious, yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
no matter what, we're always gonna fall. We're always gonna have our struggles and this and that. But
Yeah, yeah.
to understand how to pick ourselves up and understand that we are loved, we have a support group. Either whether it be you or anyone else here, because you're not the not to break your bubble, but you're not the only person that I've called. I've talked to Rabbit too. Um, she's helped me with some stuff. Thing. I mean, she would like joke around, but she would also tell me like, hey, you're gonna be okay, this and that, and but understanding how to pick yourself up and you
Mhm.
know understand these evil thoughts or these dark thoughts are just thoughts, and it doesn't really define who you are.
Yeah.
You know, but like recover. I mean, I truly believe for those people like out there, there is, hope, you will recover. But like for me, I'm not saying like, oh, I'm never gonna recover. I'm just gonna say that for me, wise, like I'm always gonna fall. I'm always gonna have my depressing moments. I'm gonna have my anxiety moments. But to
Yeah.
understand how to deal with them and understand, how you can make yourself stronger in your weakest moments. And of course, I have have the biggest support. The big J himself and God.
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, and because a lot of people are like, "Oh, why do you believe in God? Why do you believe? He's they're not real. They're not real." It's like, okay, you may not think he's real, but for me, like I owe him everything. Not because only because one, yeah, he died for us on the cross, but also that the fact that he helped me in my weakest moments. And I'm not gonna lie, after the whole ordeal, like there was like a month or three that I was like, I feel great, this and that, and then recently I just went back into depression, and I'm like, "Oh, I don't know if I could do this and
Mhm.
this and that, this and that. It was
Mhm.
really bad. But one of the things that learning to follow him is not to lean on your own human understanding, but to lean on him when you feel like you're the weakest. And the greatest thing to know about following Jesus is that he is there when you're at your weakest.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot. And I kind of like, for people who don't like Catholicism or Christianity, is you literally have a God who is here to help you at your weakest. And the thing is, and then people kind of bring in the, yeah, but you can't do this, you can't do that. I was like, yeah, you can't do that, but we still do it, not because we want to. It's because our or flesh tells us that we need to do these things. But when in reality, when you build that relationship with him, you try to not do these things. Because like, for me, and I'll say this out loud. My two biggest things
Mhm.
that I struggle is definitely pride. Not as like, oh, I'm better than everyone else. My pride is that I don't let people, when they say, oh, Angel, you're a good person, you're a good man, or you're loved. I usually it'll be like, you're just saying that. That's my pride that's getting in the way. And I'm learning how to control it and be like, basically accept the love and positivity. And second of all, lust. But lust is a very common thing for people. And of course, I'm not gonna say explicitly the things I've seen, but let's just say you know
Mhm.
every night you get the urge. And to now, sometimes I think about it, like all the disgusting things that nothing like really really disgusting kind of type shit, but like personally wise, like disgusting things I'd see. I look at I was like, wow, I was like, what the fuck, man? What the hell is wrong with you and this and that, and all that stuff. And I haven't been doing anything like that for, well, I mean, once in a while pictures keep popping up, but like that's just because of the fucking Instagram algorithm and shit, whatever. You're not gonna see all the anime girls and girls in fucking tight skin, whatever. You're always gonna see it. But lately I've been able to actually look past that and be like,
Mhm.
I don't need to see that. I'm just gonna scroll past and look at a funny meme or a funny picture, or even people preaching about the good word. And but even still, we are still human, and eventually we're gonna fall back into it. But to learn how to get back from it is amazing.
Mhm.
So
It's
yeah.
absolutely like something that everybody has to, I guess, deal with their like own. I will say this though, for finding, I guess, a place of want, comfort, and all that such, like the validation that you rightfully deserve in life and all that such,
Mm,
like it, you can seek whoever you want, you can talk to whoever that you want. It's okay to put in faith and trust into people or
mm,
something that you're very passionate of and all that such. Not a lot of people understand or can understand the fathom that you are loved and you are mattered in this like world, like no
mm.
matter what.
Even if you have one person,
Yeah,
or even if it's not even a person, maybe it's your cat, dog, bird, whatever.
yeah,
You know,
that is a thing that loves you. Like
yeah.
you in of itself, you matter to this world. You
Mm,
exist for a reason. And sure, it may be something that you don't know what you're doing in your life. You may be at the time that you just sit around staring at the ceiling, doom scrolling or whatsoever, like anything that at all that you deem that is a waste of time and all such. In all honesty, people are like that.
yeah.
People have moments like these. People have, of course, times that they're just unsure. That doesn't mean that you don't matter and all such. Like I just like when people are like people are, I just like when people say that like, oh, you're going through something that's rough and all such. Well, X or Y or this or that, there are other people that are unfortunate. Like sure, but that doesn't help. That doesn't help. That doesn't like, point me to a good direction. That points me to a point where I would feel more shitty about myself feeling
Oh,
this
absolutely.
way. Yeah, like at the time, I remember my dad basically, me and my dad, like, you know, we had a, we have a good relationship. Like, right now, it's a very good relationship.
Right.
But every time that we would talk about, I guess, more of a serious topic, such as, like, my family and all that such, like, things kind of get more blurry, more a sense of emotions. My dad,
Mm.
he's very, um,
Not very well, I wouldn't say very
well,
understanding,
he's
but
understanding. He understands it
he has
fully.
a
It's
different
just
take on it.
yeah, he's a different perspective. And without a doubt, that perspective in itself is more in the lines of, like, emotional judgment, which is
Mm.
completely fine. In his position, he has every right to even be mad or
Mm.
whatsoever.
No, I
But
totally understand too,
yeah,
because when I was going through that stuff, and because even I felt a little bit of selfishness, because there's people who are out there truly truly struggling, and I
yeah,
pray for them that they
yeah,
get the help and the rest that they need.
yeah,
um because even I felt like selfish, or like, oh my god, there's people actually out there suffering, and here I am in my comfy room and this and that, all the toys they could ever ask, and yet why are you depressed?
yeah,
And it took me a while to, like, religiously, that yes, I was rich in earthly treasures, but I wasn't rich with the relationship that I wanted to be, which was with Jesus.
yeah,
And like I
hmm,
said, it's still work in progress.
yeah,
Hopefully I'll get there one day.
yeah,
But you know of course, one of the biggest things that in in teachings, or when Jesus would teach, everything was soon, soon, soon.
hmm,
And and the thing is, like, you can't just, like, well, how soon is soon? you know you have to learn patience, and I truly thought I had patience. I don't, and I
yeah,
really don't.
yeah, yeah,
But you know and I seen it work for me. I've seen it with me, that, like, for 3 whole days, I'd be super depressed, super anxious, and this and that, this and that. And I'd pray to God and be like, why is this happening to me? Like, help me, help me, help me, this and that. And then I would find little snippets of hope and this and that. And then for whatever was making me feel that way, you know, and then hear, like, God loves you, God this, and God, one of my favorite the Psalms is, have I not commanded you, be strong, be, courageous, and everything like that. And I still
hmm,
think about it every day.
yeah,
And even at my weakest moments, when I feel like I can't do this, I can't do this, like, that's the first thing that instantly comes into my head. It's like, be strong, be courageous, do not be anxious for anything like that. And then I'm like, okay, like, I
hmm,
can do this. Like I could get through this. Whatever's making me feel bad is, or what's making me feel anxious, is not gonna not get a hold of me. Whatever type shit,
hmm,
I'm gonna power through it. And
yeah,
and sometimes there are days I can't. That it's like, today was a losing battle, but tomorrow you'll get back up. You're gonna get out of the mud. You're gonna dust yourself off. You're gonna go back in the ringer. You know,
yeah,
yeah, maybe you lost this battle, but the war's not over, basically, kind of type
yeah,
shit.
yeah, yeah,
And hopefully that there are some people out there who could, and it's gonna take a while, and just to learn patience and to understand that things don't just, especially when you're praying to God, that God's not a genie. He doesn't, oh God, I feel anxious, take it away from me. He doesn't do that. He gives you opportunities to learn how to cope with it, or how to take it away. God, I'm feeling sad today. He doesn't just, oh, now you're feeling happy again. No, it doesn't work like that. You know, and I thought, when I first started praying again, like, oh, God will take care of this and that, but he doesn't take care. He helps you, show you how to, get through it, because he believes in you, and he believes that you could get through it. And he's always still going to be there for us and everything, but
hmm,
you know, you also are responsible for your life, and you're responsible for how you feel. So, anyone out there who's, suffering for depression, anxiety, I truly hope that you're getting the help you need, and, you're not alone. That's the biggest thing. You are not alone.
Yeah.
You know, the as working with kids too, and this and that. Like there, and this is for kids and adults too. There are so many resources out there for people who suffer anxiety, depression. The first biggest thing is to admit that you need help.
Yeah. On
That's that's a big
it's a
it's a
struggle
really
to
hard thing
even
to.
yeah, it's a struggle
Yeah.
to even admit it and all such
Hmm.
like how like cognitively wise, a lot of people would try to either there's two things. There's actually no three things. Like I in a more simplistic way, um they would talk about it,
Mm.
they would of course dismiss it, or they would ponder or think about it and all such. And when people talk about these feelings, sometimes they would, of course, they would have the validation from other people, but when they, I guess, expressed it in like various like ways and all such, or discussing it entirely, like it depends on the person that you talk to. So, like I said, to those that are struggling and all that such, like no matter what, like talk to those that you trust and all such. And if it isn't the feeling that you are wanting, then I would heavily suggest professional help or something that you might lean towards that is very passionate of and all that such. But yeah, no, like
No, no matter, I say this to anyone or people who out there who are listening, you do matter.
yeah,
And maybe you've done things that you're not proud of. Maybe you've done things that you regret. And I can't believe I'm saying this from Red versus Blue and actually more of
son of
Halo.
a bitch, like you
Dude,
reminded me.
bro, like because like seriously, they were
Yeah,
cooking
no, they were
when
cooking. They were.
like your path. And the thing is, I tell when I was working with or with was it kinder through fifth grade and then high schoolers
Hmm.
or middle through high school, like I actually used these as when kids were feeling bad. My
Dude,
top
you
my
should have just suggested them the show.
like my top
Yeah.
three, and
Hmm.
for everyone to like, one is your past doesn't define who you are. It's just the starting point of what you want to be or what you're going to become.
Yeah.
And of course, my ultimate favorite one is from Halo Infinite. Now, like I said, I don't like 343 Industries or now Halo Studios, but I don't know who the hell was cooking in the kitchen for Infinite, but um, Master Chief going up to the pilot and actually Master Chief actually showing that humanity of him. You know, we all fail, we all make mistakes. It's what
Hmm.
makes us humans. You
Yeah.
know, and whoever's going through some issues, yes, the hardest thing too is to understand that self love, understand that you do matter. You know, I like to put it in this way, like you know millions or thousands and thousands of years of evolution, and you're letting one thing you know get to you. It's like, no, you know if you truly want to get better, you need to get dirty. You need to let yourself become vulnerable. You need to understand that you need to open up to people that you trust. And if those people take that trust away, then to hell with them, move on to the next person. And if you literally have no people in your life, there are resources
Hmm.
and everything. But for those who believe in Jesus, shout out to you guys. But those who believe in Jesus and who are going through depression, all that stuff, Jesus, God, they uh, they both love you. So you cannot, as humans, cannot comprehend the amount of love
Hmm.
that Jesus and God has for us. But to know that it is there, and like God and Jesus will, or God in general will always be there for you, is astounding to me. But yeah, oh
Yeah.
man, I think I cooked a little bit on that one. But anyways,
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I smell fried rice.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, the shrimp is in there. He's cooking, you know.
wait. If the shrimp, if I didn't cook it, and you didn't cook it,
Yeah, no, the shrimp.
who's cooking the who's it was the shrimp? No,
Who the fuck? Yeah.
people also, in the audience also have to understand too. For me,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
there are times when I get like really super serious, but either in the middle of a joke just to break the tension, either in the middle of the conversation or at the end of the conversation, I always end something with a joke or goofiness because I don't know. That's just me. I can't stay. I
Yeah.
can't always stay serious unless
Yeah.
like it's truly a serious thing.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
yeah,
It's I mean it's a recovery.
yeah.
It's
recovery,
a process.
recovery, it won't happen in a day. You gotta take it step by
It
step.
takes it takes a
It
lot of
takes.
time, effort.
Mm,
Well, not it's not just effort and time. It's more in a sense of your own it's your own self. Like it takes so much of yourself to even comprehend the idea that like things are going well. Cuz I will say this as a person that like tried to become sober and all that such back then. I hated it. I hated the moment that like I cried at night. I hated the moment that I was like itching my own skin of needing one more shot and all that such, or pretty much like having a bunch of. So if you ever smoked cigarettes way back then, to those that are sober or anything like that, or even had a somewhat similar effect to like drugs and shit like that, you will like mucus a lot, like a lot of snot and shit like that. Like you'll have that shit like running through your nose and all that such. Like during like I guess like a few days of just trying to sober up and all that such, because your body is not so used to it, so fucking plugged in. Like I was basically fiending for an itch and all that such, but like that effort took quite a lot and all that such. But yeah, I
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's
Never let that the people who like because the people that I truly hate or not hate, sorry, truly I disagree is like you're going into people like, dude, I just feel this way and this and that, and then I really hate it when people like, dude, just cheer up. I was like, really, you don't know what the hell I'm going
It's
through.
it's a lot. Even
It's it,
even to like even though it's like in their eyes, it's like trying to like put them up to say like
mm.
in all honesty, it's more of a dismissal. It's more in a
Mm.
sense that like, hey dad, look, I made this, or like, hey, I
I
got a good
drew
grade.
this for
Like, hey,
you.
yeah, and that's like, oh, cool, whatever.
Yeah,
Like, no, it's not like that. It's more in a sense that they want to be seen. Like even having the not privilege. Well, it's not even the privilege. It's like more of a right to even be seen and all such, or even be heard and all such. It's just it's a lot, you know.
yeah.
Like as a kid that struggled to even have his own voice or even have his like own support group and all that such. It's a lot to even take into this hell. Like as a person that pushed away people back then and all such, it's just so much.
And
So
also for those people who also like, well, I'm the in my group I'm the therapist and this and that. I don't think I need it. Yes, you do.
you do. No,
Absolutely, yes,
absolutely.
you
And like I
absolutely
was the therapist too back then, like the group
yeah.
too, and all this such. Like I will say this: everybody needs to talk about their feelings. Everybody needs to be loved,
Okay, Jesus.
be heard, and all that such. It's just a basic need. It's not a want that you want like love or anything like that. It's a need. People need to be heard. People need to be seen, because if you don't, and all that such, like if you don't, it's just it's stupid.
It's
It's
not stupid,
no,
but
no, no, no. Of what I was about to say, like you'll just, I don't know, it's stupid. It's just like it's a struggle. It's a struggle. Like as a person that like really did struggle with a lot of shit back then and all such, it is a struggle and it is hard. But I can guarantee you that you are heading towards the right direction when you just let out your emotions, when you just cry, when you just pretty much just let it go. So, yeah,
exactly.
it's a lot. It's a lot.
It truly is. I mean, we as a society, I'm just kidding.
Shit the yeah, but
But like the society that we live in right now, I mean,
yeah, it's
it,
heavily
it's very because I mean, I do believe in the
mm,
statement, hard times make strong men, weak times make weak, or good times make weak men. And
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
but the other thing is it's also different in different generations. Now, much respect and love to the generations who had to go fight in war. You know, they had it hard. The people who are in the service, they have it hard in this and that. And don't let like the older generation like, well, we had to go fight in wars and this and that and this and that. Back then, you know, we could afford a house on a single pay salary and this and that, this and that. I was like, but in this generation,
It's
a
different.
person
It's a
speaking
different
of
playfield. Yeah.
speaking for both of us, we still live with our parents, and
Yeah.
I personally I want to go on my own. I
I
want to
want
have
to
my own.
be independent. I
I
want
want
to
to be
do
independent, but
things.
like,
Yeah. But
but
like fuck
in
me.
this, like, we need a, and they like you literally you need to get in debt to
No,
fucking
yeah,
get a
yeah, and
house.
that's something that literally everybody needs. Like, it's like being in debt sucks ass. Like, even having debt in itself like gives you dread, and you don't want that dread. It's fucking horrible.
But if
So
like you have a decent,
yeah,
you have a good paying job, or not a good paying, but if you have reliable income coming in, then yeah, you're gonna have
go
to get
for
in
it.
debt.
Yeah, go
But
for it.
you
Yeah,
know, but like the new older generation are like, well, I can fucking buy a house. You this, I was like, yeah, but in this generation where one they could make any job could be like $20 to $30 an hour, even if just picking up doing random shit, or the simplest task. That still itself is not going to be enough, because now that brings up the cost of groceries and gas and living and this and that. um so like the new generation, I mean, they got lucky. Or not the new, the old generation got lucky. They bought their houses when it was affordable and this. And now for us, a lot of people are like fighting, like, oh, we're gonna bring down rent. We're gonna bring. It's not gonna really happen.
it's not an easy solution of
It's
flicking a
not.
finger. It is. I will say this as a person that like has been knowing history and politics for quite some time. It is not an easy solution to just like, oh, we'll just lower it down. No, it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort. Hell, even it takes fucking generations to even having a like recuperating like sum of like that type of slimmer of I guess growth and all that such because we haven't really improved. We haven't really all that such as I guess a culture or even like all that such because like there's a lot of stagnations of like a lot of things that people can't even accept and all that such into like people's like lives or whatsoever. I will say this: do whatever you want to do that makes you happy as long as it doesn't harm others. Like absolutely,
Or land you in jail, or
yeah,
federal jail,
or federal jail or a state level jail or jail in total.
or
or
on the fucking
or
or
Halo
FBI
jail
watch list.
or Halo jail.
Oh man, not Halo.
Yeah, you remember prison?
Oh gosh.
Do that oversized fucking soccer in the field. Yeah.
Disgusting. Oh man. I mean, everyone has. I mean, every video game franchise fans have their own cringy shit. I mean, I absolutely fucking. And this is a hot take for a lot of people. I absolutely hate Roblox.
I I
I
I know people that played Roblox since like the beginning, but I would say this, fuck me, I never touched Roblox until recently. So
I I've only played it twice in my entire life. Once because I was just like, "What the hell is this?" And twice, second time is because my niece, she loves Roblox, and I'm trying to like push her to get like better games, but she loves Roblox, and she was like, "Dio, do you want to play with me on Roblox?" And I'm like, "Kiddo, I love you a lot, but fuck no." but but she was like, "Really, Theo, you don't want to play?" I was like, "Okay, I'll play one game with you."
Holy shit, it's Princess Tycoon. So this
We're playing the
fucking
fuck, the
dress mean impress, just impress.
no, we were playing
Oh, yeah, yeah.
the was it how the one where you have to jump from platform or
Oh my
you're
god, yeah.
you're basically climbing a mountain or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Um, as a gamer myself, now as a expert on play, I don't want to fucking don't want to throw it out there, but playing all the Halo games on Legendary, that includes Halo 2, and then playing Destiny, killing the Taken King and Crota's, the Taken King's son Crota, you know, kind of hard for me to get, upset the
Mhm.
teammates. I'm like, guys, come on, it's like 6 in the morning, it's like 4 in the morning, like I want to go to bed. It's like, no, dude, we're gonna do one, we're gonna finish it, okay. That game made me fucking pissed off and rage at my. I was like, Olivia, like just jump on. She's like, I'm trying. I was like, it's not that hard. And then I would fall. Fuck, 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 fuck this game. Just oh man, oh that game. I was like, I'm installing this. I'm never picking it up. Never again. But then I would sometimes see like the fucking anime edits on Instagram. It was like, damn, that should go hard sometimes. Or the goofy shit that goes on. Oh,
Goofy
oh
aw,
man.
goofy aw.
My favorite one is I guess like it's a video with like the character their avatars in the bathroom, and there's a guy like right behind them, and he's like really fast going back and forth at one person, and the person would turn around and he would just turn around with having the fucking Roblox newspaper. I fucking love that one so much. But how should we end this, because I have to wake up
I
early tomorrow.
I'll say this.
Okay.
I guess well, this is the end of the podcast and all that such for episode one, recovery, and of course my wonderful guest star here, Bean, and all that such. He will be a recurring member in some episodes for the Beatle Seven podcast, which of course is going to be edited by me, etc., things like that. And of course, we're going to have a lot of stuff upcoming for the Beatle 7 server and all that such. So, overall, for those that are still interested into listening these podcasts, without a doubt, all these episodes and all that such will be posted into YouTube, and of course we'll have the free usage of anybody can use it in a sense of like editing and all that such, or using it as a frame of reference and all that such. All we do for, I guess, for respect for us and all that such is just to give credit where credit is due, and of course to let these stories be heard. So without a doubt, for those that are tuning in, thank you so much for giving your time and effort into listening our stories, and overall, yeah. But Mr. Bean,
Mm-hmm.
what would you like to say to the audience as a final note to the first episode to a wonderful kickstart of a series that we're going back into?
Two things. One, love Pokemon cards. So if you love the
Fuck off.
love the cards,
Yeah, yeah.
join on the stream, boys. Join
Oh
on the
my
stream.
god, yeah, no, yeah, we totally need to do more. Was it Twitch
Poke-
streams of that? Yeah, I
Uh,
know.
as long as as long as my bank account allows me to do it.
um,
But yeah, no,
yeah.
definitely for the like. Unless you wanna, I'm just saying for those who, or maybe sugar mommy out there, kind of,
Sure. Oh, Josh
need
robbed.
listen, brother. You listen here right now, okay? I cook, I clean, I got you. All I care about is getting Pokemon cards. But anyways, that's the first one, definitely. But to end it on the note, just one quick thing, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will always be with you wherever you go. How to do it, bro? Absolutely,
Absolute cooking. All right. Well,
absolutely.
thank you guys for tuning in, and have a wonderful
Give
and
me
safe day.
Pokemon cards.
What the
Give
fuck?
me Pokemon cards. Give me Pokemon cards.